Yasuke. I'm thinking about doing like a quick vlog about him. I just found out about him like yesterday, I believe. He was a slave that got taken to Japan. He was an African slave in Japan, and he made it there in 1579. The thing is, he's famous for becoming a samurai and a guard under the. I don't know if the other guys are emperors. He's somebody I forget, but anyway, he became like an official samurai guard under him in 1581. Now that's interesting because I don't know. I haven't read about him yet. Like I said, I'm thinking about doing a quick vlog about him. But my thing is, the one thing I do know about Japan in the 16th century, I seen a video with Jared Taylor talking about the origins of racism, with a whole bunch of different references of it and different periods of history through different societies, different peoples or entities or whatnot that had slavery a part of that institution, blah, 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 woo, woo. The whole thing is when he mentioned Japan in that video, he was like, they had closed up their society to the world, I think, for like 200 years up until the 16th century. And that's when not they, but Europeans came there or whatnot. That's what he was saying. So my thing is, and by the way, when he brought that up, he was trying to say like, also in tangent with the other references in the video, the Japanese had racial descriptions for the white people also, and many of them were insulting as well. Just basically describing the difference in how like people notice like unfamiliar features and shit. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, the whole thing is, I'm like, damn. And I thought about that point in time. I'm like, that's probably got something to do with it. Maybe the Europeans is the ones that brought the slaves there more than likely or whatever. And Yasuke was one of them. But that's just thinking about like the broader context that's going on. So it made me think about other things too. Like, for example, Ahmad Baba, who was a scholar that lived in Timbuktu. He also came out with a book talking about slavery, but more so the appropriation of it from his point of view, his perspective. So it made me think about that as far as like that was going on, because he lived from 1554 to 1627. So around that period also. Another thing is, and like I say, he was a scholar, but also during that same century, that's when like, as far as the 16th century, that's when the Songhai Empire were at their prime, basically, at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Leo Africanus, for example, visited Mali in 1510. You know what I'm saying? Alone. I think he had got arrested just before he made it there, or maybe after that, but that's beside the point. So that had happened during that century. Many other things, like, for example, John Locke, who made his, how can I put it, his voyages, buying and then also stealing slaves. He did it during that century. And one of the famous ships that he used, I think during his last trip, if not his third trip, was called Jesus Lubeck, which has a lot of history to it as well. That was just simply the name of the ship, by the way. But anyway, it's a lot of history to it as well. But anyway, he did that during that century also. That's like in 1567, also in 1568, and I think 1564, and about almost like maybe 10 to 6 years before that, he had also created this organization. I think it was called Raiding for Slaves or something like that. Coalition for Raiding for Slaves or something similar to that. During that time also, he also came out with a book too. That happened during that century too. All kind of other shits too that I can name. I have put a post on my feed on Facebook. We just named certain things that. Oh, another one. This guy named Inigo Ortiz de Retas. That's the guy that discovered New Guinea and also named it there. New Guinea. It's an interesting history to the word New Guinea. Also, why he named it that, because he said basically they look like the people from West Africa. So basically, the Negritos that he came across, as well as the Austroasiatics, you know what I'm saying? But that took place in 1545. He was basically Spanish. He came from, I think, northern Spain. But it's like a distinct people. I think they're called the Basquez people or something like that. That's like in northern Spain. It's like they are Spanish, but I think it's hard to explain. But anyway, that took place during that century. All kind of other shits too. You know what I'm saying? So again, I just think about that because it's. And again, what I was trying to say is, like in my post, I made like notes of things that I thought about, that I spoke on, or that I just know about that took place during that century, just for the global perspective. You know what I'm saying? So Yasuke is another add-on to that. That's why I'm like, okay, well, still, you know what I'm saying, working on my Negrito blog, I could throw that one out. I just dropped the other one already. You know what I'm saying? The Three Forces, God, Aliens, and AI. And just before that, the Zinc. I'm like, let me go ahead and I could probably drop at least one more. So this guy Yasuke, I'm thinking about doing. Now, really quick, already just thinking about it and analyzing it. I'm like, he couldn't have been a professional samurai. So I looked it up. I'm like, how long does it take to become a professional samurai? Basically, at least a little bit over 10 years. But the majority of them start from childhood. And of course, it's also a lifelong discipline. At least I would assume the tradition of it for a samurai. So specifically during the 16th century, I looked it up as far as that period. The same thing. The majority of them start from childhood. But again, at least over 10 years. As far as Yasuke, and what I do understand, he became a official personal samurai for from 1581 to 1582, because the guy that he became that under had ended up dying only a year later after. I'm going to assume he was some type of ruler or something. I could be wrong. He was something, but whatever position that he ended up in, he only served it for like a year, basically, until he died. So, as far as 1581, that's only 2 years after he arrived to Japan as a slave. So, me just thinking about it off the top already, I'm like, nah, that's impossible. He couldn't have been a professional samurai. But I'm like, he probably was extraordinary in their training. He probably caught on to it quickly. It's a female that passed away recently. I like her a lot. I still haven't put her in my stories yet. I will. Her name was Michaela Day Prince. She's from West Africa. I think, is it Senegal? Sierra Leone. And she became she got adopted, her and another girl, one of her sisters. But anyway, she became a famous ballerina, but she started as a kid. She first seen like a flyer where she was from. Her story, like the beginnings of her story, the context, not the context, but what she came from was horrific, but that's another story. I ain't gonna get into all that. But she made it. She came to America. She still had that in mind. Later on, her mother got her into the field of ballerina, and she excelled at it thoroughly. Stuff like that happens. She caught on to it pretty good earlier on, and etc. So it's almost like she was precocious at it, even though she first got inspired from a flyer that she seen in Sierra Leone. Now, things like that happen. So I'm not saying he wasn't like amazing, but I'm still like, damn, was just within 2 years. Oh yeah, Clarissa Shields, that's another one. She already had like 2 or 3 MMA fights, and most of them start probably the same amount of time, because I think it takes 10 years to become a black belt in martial arts. So the samurai thing, 10 years also, it's probably the same thing, about like a decade. But she still did it pretty quick because she caught on pretty well. She was already a professional fighter in boxing. But still, though, I'm just saying. So that still may be the case. But still, only 2 years? Hell no. I don't know. That's interesting. But I'm going to find out about it when I research it. So I may end up doing something like that. So I just wanted to press record because I was already getting ready to do my venting, speaking about this guy. And I'm like, let me just record what I understand about him so far. But yeah, shout out to Yasuke. That's only a century before other people, or around that same time. It's not too far from El Yanga, uh, uh, Queen Nani, or Queen Nanu, or Queen Nana. You know what I'm saying? It ain't too far from people like that. Another guy that I wrote down, I almost forgot about, Vincent Ogay, him, others, etc. It's just like a, you know what I'm saying? It's too far from Onesima, so I ain't put him up in there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's quite a few. Again, it's just like more so like a global context and all that. But yeah, I may end up doing a vlog about him. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, it's your boy Jay here.